Hello there guys, this is a very quick video. I want this to be quick. I always say that, so what the hell? It probably won't be quick. But I first wanted to say that I think that it almost seems mandatory for me to do my videos with smeared eye makeup and messy hair. That just seems to be that just seems to be my thing. The truth is that this is obviously how I look most of the time, which isn't the best thing, but I do kind of want to assure you that when I leave the house I don't look like this. And I probably should make a little bit more effort, but so far I feel like this is a safe space. So far, but I do know the world we live in, so we shall see how long that lasts. I just wanted to give like quite a happy update really, and yeah, just basically just like a vertigo, vestibular migraine update, to hopefully once again inspire some hope, because I kind of have like a little sort of success story, and yeah, the long and the short is this. I can't remember the exact timeline, but I think about a week ago I stopped taking the sertraline. Now, I really don't know that the sertraline caused my vertigo. What I actually think happened was I was finding the side effects of sertraline quite like, I didn't like how it made my head feel, and I know I was only on it for about 2 weeks, and technically like that's the worst you're going to feel, but I was kind of thinking I feel well enough without being on it to not endure this. And you know, maybe if it's the case that I struggle with the week leading up to my period, maybe there's either an alternative medication, or maybe there are lifestyle adjustments that I can make. Maybe it's a case of reevaluating what's going on in my life, maybe, you know, all that stuff. Sadly, if you were kind of looking for a sertraline journey or a success story with sertraline, I can't provide that. But I came off because I felt bizarre on it. I felt like I wasn't feeling anything, and that was troubling me because I'm such a feeling person. I tend not to numb my feelings, I tend to just feel them. I am a really like thoughtful person. Ever since I was a child, I was just always like a big, I'm not even going to say overthinker, but I was a big like worrier, and understandably we live in a bit of a worrying world sometimes. But just a big worrier, very anxious, and going from, I would admit there's types of anxiety, like if you're in a chronic sense of panic attacks, and I have been there years ago, where you can't eat or it is physically affecting your health in such an awful way, then feeling numb might be a hugely big preference. Or maybe if you're feeling is having suicidal ideation and extremely depressed, then maybe feeling numb would be extremely preferable. This numb feeling I didn't like. I really didn't like it, mainly because for me and I guess for most people, for me, my emotions give me motivation, especially negative emotions. So positive ones do, but also negative. Like having even the smallest negative emotion will give me inspiration to do something. But feeling nothing, I was just lying on my bed, like, I was just like, this doesn't feel like a life. This really doesn't feel like a life. That was how I felt. And then I was getting stressed because of that. I was getting stressed because I was like, I don't recognize this head. My physical head feels a bit odd. I was hating the sexual side effects of it. I was really lucky that I didn't really have gastro side effects from it. So lucky in that sense. Didn't have I did have the kind of jitteriness, the kind of jittery jaw. Did have a little bit of insomnia and some weird sleep, and I those issues were actually causing me stress. And ultimately, I'm just checking what my less good eye. I'm just checking how long I've been talking. Ultimately, I think that stress, coupled with the stress that initially made me want to go on the sertraline, which is maybe something I can talk about years to come. But like that stress coupled with the weird side effects, I think is what brought on the vestibular migraine. That's what I think happened. I don't think the sertraline itself brought on a migraine, although I think that is certainly possible. I don't think that was it. I think it was that I was adjusting and having a really tricky time adjusting, and it made me stressed. I was already stressed, and I think it just made my physical symptoms just go on high alert and on blast. And then yeah, got that vertigo, and yeah. Now, I think what I can tell you is that I had vertigo for, look, always at the time it feels like this never-ending awful thing, but I had vertigo for less than 2 weeks. Now, I don't want to speak too soon because I do still have some symptoms of vestibular migraine, but this is the kind of like the hope that I want to hopefully bring to anybody who may be having a relapse or suffers with it. The tricky thing is that I know it's case by case, and I'm not a doctor, which is just so incredibly hugely important. I'm not a specialist. I can only speak from my experience, but I do think my experience could be of value. It could be, so I'd love to share it. I used to listen to the podcast The Cure for Chronic Pain by Nicole Sachs. I listened to it again and hilariously got myself more stressed from listening to it, because the reason I got stressed is because often there's the kind of reiteration of like, there's nothing wrong with you. If you can just kind of purge yourself of your emotions, you'll get better. Now, where I was kind of struggling was, although there's an acknowledgement that your symptoms are real, you're not imagining it, it's the kind of constant message of there's nothing wrong with you. It's like, okay, even if there is literally nothing physically fucking wrong with me, I feel like such shit that hearing that spoken over and over again was actually starting to piss me off and actually make me a bit stressed. But and bear in mind, there's different types of vertigo, and there's all different kinds of things. Don't let me saying this or them saying that not let you get checked out by a doctor, and not believe that there's any kind of physical cause. All these things are extremely important, and I think being validated in your symptoms and knowing what exactly is going on, and that is not in your head, and fucking hell it's not just in your head, because oh my fucking god, let's not go there, is, I can't remember the end of that sentence. Sorry, can't remember. But yeah, no, it's not going to come back. But essentially, being told there's nothing wrong with you can absolutely go down like a lead balloon. It does for me, because I'm kind of like, all right, you can say that, like you can say that in your jolly way, but I feel like utter shit. And what I kind of also felt was, it was almost felt like kind of enforced positivity, like a sense of like, if you can just live and be positive and live with the symptoms, it'll go away. Totally. But that is so much easier said than done. So much easier said than done. So initially what I did, this does come full circle into a success story. Initially what I did was, I was like, right, okay, I'm going to just live my life as if I don't have any kind of vestibular stuff going on at the moment. I'm going to live my life, and hopefully I'll get so distracted that it will just go away. That's not exactly how it worked. I went back to work and felt ill, and my migraine symptoms felt a bit worse, and I was like, should I have really come back? This is quite bad. I feel awful. Awful. And the depression that vertigo symptoms bring out in me is next level. So I just kind of tried to be mindful of making sure that I had like a constant flow of like food in my system, just because instinctively I felt like, you know, fasting periods and things like that would be a huge trigger. So I just kind of made sure that I constantly had food, and relatively good food, and enough water, and every now and then a painkiller, even though it's not really like a pain migraine, and that seemed to help a little bit. I just felt ill. I just felt ill quite a bit at work for the week that I was at work, few days that I was at work. Then I was like, okay, I'm going away for a lovely little holiday trip. That holiday trip will calm me right down. I'll have a fabulous time, and then by the time I come back, I think my vertigo will be gone. What actually happened was, my vertigo was strong, and bad. And what I kept trying to do was, I kept kind of trying to be like, oh, well, but I'm on holiday. Yes, there's my symptoms, but so what? Look at that lovely sheep. I feel fucking awful. But I don't feel awful, do I? I feel great, and it's just how I need to just think of this more positively. I just need to feel more positive about this whole situation. And then obviously, no shit Sherlock, I drove myself freaking mental and ended up crying, because I was like, top tip, if you're suffering from something, emotional, physical, do not try and trick your brain into thinking it likes it or finds it positive or doesn't care about it. Because if you feel like shit, you feel like shit. Let yourself feel like shit. Let yourself feel like shit. Have a good rant. Have a really bloody good blimmin' good rant. I even spat as I said that, because that's how I'm actually. One thing I've learned from this is what a huge advocate I am for a good flipping rant. If you feel like you've got some suppressed anger, have a bloody good rant. It actually helps. It actually helps. Anyway, on this Nicole Sachs podcast, The Cure for Chronic Pain, she interviewed a guest called Dr. Yo, who's an audiologist, and her YouTube channel is called The Steady Coach. And again, admittedly, I'm just going to be fully transparent. When I was listening to them, I was like, can you just shut up? I'm just having the worst time ever. Like, can you like just... And it was because it was through listening to them that made me think, oh, I need to just think of this more positive. I just need to buckle up and get on with life. I just need to, plaster on a smile, but I really got it wrong. That's not the message that they're actually trying to send. It is a little confusing. I do find it sometimes a bit confusing to listen to, but that's actually not the message that's meant to be being sent. The overall message is that if you have got like suppressed feelings of any kind and you're suppressing them repeatedly and getting yourself stressed, your nervous system's on high alert. It can create these migrainous things and you can have a horrible time from it. And that if you can get your nervous system to calm down, you have a quite a good fighting chance of getting rid of the symptoms. I was just really confused. I was like, I don't get it. Like, I'm trying to be happy. It's not working. It's actually making me angry. And then my symptoms are getting worse. So when I went to the Steady Coach channel and watched her first video called Tier List of things that help get rid of them, can get rid of dizziness. Definitely listen to her. She's far more qualified than me. But even still, even then, the best person to listen to will be your own healthcare provider. Kind of. Just make sure the advice you get works for you. Yeah. And just make sure it's professional. Yeah. So she kind of advised some of the main things that were like her S tier things. And please do check out her video and all her videos because I think that they're helpful, really, really helpful. She interviews someone, I think a lady called Sam Miller, and I found that video really interesting. It's like a 2-hour podcast, and I found it so interesting. So interesting. And it's only when I kind of started to sort of really try and implement these things, which really was not forced positivity, which is what I kind of thought it was meant to be. And it's actually more about being quite authentic. It's actually more about being like, and yes, I'm here to tell you that can be through you being like, fuck this, I'm pissed off that I've still got vertigo symptoms after however many days. I'm fucked off that I have to deal with this. Say it, and say it with your chest. Get pissed off. Not drunk. Get pissed off. Get pissed off. Get it out. I actually think it really helps. I actually genuinely think it really helps. Just rant and vent. Not like, you know what I mean? Just pissed off. Don't like it. And if you're dealing with somebody who doesn't let you rant, you go find somebody who will. Find somebody who will. Do it into a journal if nobody will, but find a good, solid friend that you know does listen. Find them. Just go rant. Just rant somewhere. Rant somewhere. And let it be. Let it be. And like let it be that you are pissed off. I feel like that's not the clear message that these ladies give, but that's my take from it because I went to work one morning and I just had a really good rant. To like a trusted colleague, it actually wasn't a work rant. It was a rant about something else, and I was just like, usually I would kind of like caveat with, oh, but you know, I need to make sure that I don't say this, and I need to, and I was just like, oh God, you know this. Drives me freaking bonkers. It really is absolutely driving me bonkers. And I let the kind of what's it called? The exasperation out. And I'm not talking about shouting and swearing and intimidating people. I'm not talking about that. I hope that's clear. But I just mean about going, for God's sake, fuck this. Fuck this. And then not have someone turn around and be like, oh, but just have someone be like, yeah, man, I know what you're saying. Because I shit you not, by the end of that day, I actually felt so much better. And my symptoms have continued to get better ever since. Check out Nicole Sachs, because even though I kind of like, I don't think I advertised it very well. Her podcast has actually been really, really radical for me. and really helpful. And then the people that she's kind of like the people who she interviews, looking at their channels is also super helpful. For me, that has been the big game changer. I still have like some like migraine symptoms sometimes, but I feel so much better, so much better. And yesterday I had like a work leaving celebration. We did karaoke in this little room, screaming my head off, like jumping around, and feeling well, forgetting I even had vertigo, feeling genuinely well. And I honestly didn't think I was going to make that event. I actually didn't think that I would. There was a bit of me wondering if I wouldn't spend my last few weeks at work. I thought that potentially I would be off until my contract ended. But I have one more week left and I will be going in, and I've been in the last few weeks, and I had an amazing like party last night. So yeah, check out those links, because I guess that's the ultimate thing I'm saying. 21 minutes. Fucking hell. Do you remember at the beginning of this video when I was like, it's going to be very quick?